Day 5, VHS. I'm joined in today's podcast by Pete, who's going to be talking...
Paul.
What did I say?
Pete.
What is it?
Paul.
Where have we got Pete from?
I don't know.
This is what I want for the jingle on my podcast. It's going to be called John Bolton's podcast. Do that in falsetto. There's no you in Bolton, but I guess that doesn't matter if you're singing it. And I'm a writer. See if you can work that in some way. Basically, just make me sound awesome. Cheers.
One piece of feedback I've had is that I tend to review films without actually talking about what they're about. So, right, it's VHS is an anthology horror film, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, so basically it's an anthology horror film. So you have 6 sort of short horror films, vaguely hewn together with a sort of background narrative of some miscreants who break some windows, sexually assault somebody in a multi-storey car park, and then break into a house to steal some tapes. I think that's what it's about.
Quite a loose
Yeah.
umbrella thing.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah, I mean, it's good enough, isn't it? I think they did the same thing in the second one. There's a second one. Point of interest.
Called
VHS 2.
Clever.
Yeah. And there's also the third one as well, actually, which is, yeah. Do you want to guess what that one's called?
Well, I'm guessing it's a bit more up to date, so maybe DVD.
No, it is VHS. Still VHS. VHS Viral, it's called.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
I
not as
see.
good. It's The Week.
Yeah.
Difficult third album. It's a film, isn't it? Yeah. So basically there's these people break into a house, and then what we basically see is the 5 or 6 films that they watch while they're in there. I don't know why they keep putting these tapes on. There were a few things actually that struck me about the logic of it when I had to try and dismiss it so I could enjoy them. One was they've broken into a house to nick a tape, and they've got into the house and there's a dead guy. Just get all the tapes and go.
Yeah.
Second of all, some bits of it had music in it. So who put that in? Things are just like what you see in the camera is what we've now got on the videotape. Who's been editing music into these? What? Why? I let that go, but it did bother me a bit, if I'm honest. I found it took me away from the film, which is not what music should do. Apparently. Yeah, right, so do you want to go through the bits bit by bit? And I've come out of it now. And then we'll maybe come up with some thoughts on the film as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so before we actually sort of go into like the segment, let's discuss the opening.
Oh yeah. All right. Right. So Tape 56 is apparently the name of the opening bits.
Yeah.
It says a frame narrative focuses on a criminal gang who film their exploits, which include smashing the walls and windows of an abandoned house and sexually assaulting women in a parking lot. That's pretty much what I said. An anonymous source offers them a large sum of money to break into a house and steal a single VHS videotape. The gang is eager to expand their criminal enterprises and accept the task. And then they break in and that's, yeah. Thoughts?
So yeah, I enjoy the found footage thing per se.
Me too.
I do get a little bit. I think like on big screen. And also, like we were watching it with the lights out, I do find the shaky, like constant, like 2 hours of shaky camera does get quite irritating.
Yeah,
but it's still good.
I think,
and also I think I sometimes feel like there are moments where it's obvious they're trying to make it look like it's just amateur footage, and stuff like because if you're filming something. Like fair enough, like in dramatic situations, your camera work isn't going to be as good, is it? When you're being.
Is this about your wedding again?
No,
I did the best I could.
I'm
mate.
over that.
Really?
I'm over that. Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Cause...
I mean, my wedding wasn't dramatic.
No, I mean the video.
Long.
Yes. I didn't have a tripod. I did the best I could.
Yeah.
And it did go on. I had to swap tapes at least twice. Yeah.
No, it's just like yeah, fair enough. When you're being chased around a house by a demon, whatever it's supposed to be. Yeah, your camera work isn't going to be as good.
True,
but it sort of felt like. Well, yeah, I mean, you try and get at least some of it on shot.
Be nice. Yeah, I think the other issue I love found footage films. I think of horror sub-genre, if that's even a thing. It's probably my favourite because I think, as I'll probably talk about in a podcast at some point, because I had thought about doing that. I like horror films because I like films that subvert the normal world, and so the horror films I like are like haunted house ones, which are a little bit more. They're not so much of a blurring of reality. It's a bit more believable that this could happen. Whereas things that are set in space or under the sea, I can't relate to them. So I don't like films like that. Apart from Aliens, it's different though, isn't it? And so found footage is like another step of reality, because I guess because we used to do a lot of filming and stuff and still do, the idea of somebody finding some footage and it showing all this horrendous stuff is quite compelling, but also believable. I guess the issue I've always had with found footage stuff is accepting why you were still filming at this point. And I think what VHS does quite well, because you got like the last film, the guy's wearing like a costume with a camera mounted in it, and the first one there's a guy wearing glasses with a camera in it, so you can kind of accept that the reason why we've got this footage isn't because somebody had the foresight to continue holding the camera all this time. It's because it's just on and it's running and it's there. One of the big criticisms I think of Paranormal Activity is, why are you filming nothing for hours? I thought VHS did quite a good job of kind of blagging that, because I mean I accept it. I have to accept it in order to enjoy these films. Like Blair Witch. In a Blair Witch scenario, I would have stopped filming because I wouldn't have the presence of mind to think, oh, must video this bit. Pretty much after we'd got at the woods, to be honest. I think once we'd start interviewing people, I'd lose interest. I mean, we film things a lot, and often we've met up and gone somewhere and not filmed anything, because you're kind of in the moment. You don't think, oh, we must video something. And I think that's something that VHS does quite well, is that it kind of, it makes it accept. You kind of think, oh, okay, yeah, I understand why you've been filming all of this, because you've got the camera in your hat, or it's a Skype video thing that you've captured or something.
Or it's a holiday or a Halloween trip out.
Yeah.
In the last one?
Yeah, the last one he had it in he was wearing like a bear costume and it was in the face of the bear or something. A bit weird. Yeah, right, okay.
But also,
right.
Just another thing about the sort of the low quality thing is that it enables them to have really quite good effects, because you can't see can't see it as well. So like sort of in the last one, you got hands coming out of the wall and stuff. And
I can't wait to talk about the last one. It's far and away my favourite. Nice. Oh God, yeah. Right, so that's the bit. That takes us to Amateur Night. Shane, Patrick and Clint are three friends who have rented a motel room to fulfil Shane's intent of bringing women back for sex.
Sorry, before we go on to that, there was something else I wanted to say about the film.
Oh God, go on. Yeah,
but yeah, also what struck me in the first bit, like the opening bit, was the fact that at one point I had to sort of say to you, why are they doing this? So it's like it's a bit of a difficult thing, I think, in filmmaking, to have people talking over each other in a believable way that you do when you're in a group of friends and you're excited and there's adrenaline and stuff like that. People do talk over each other, which is believable, but I hadn't picked up at all what the they were doing. I was trying to listen to everything that everyone was saying, like trying to pick out what bits were important, and I completely missed the point of the film. I think also it actually doesn't matter why they're there.
No,
really,
I suppose.
Does it? It's just like at that point I didn't know that the premises of the film
was to break into a premise to steal a tape. Yeah, plus, man, I've got the advantage. I've seen it 3 times before, probably something like that. So I know, so I don't need to worry about listening to that. So I can just kind of absorb the fact that they're all done yammering away. Right, so the first actual tape they watch. Always concerned that that's actually stopped recording. Has in fact just gone black. Amateur night. So yeah, basically, there's a guy who wears glasses with a camera in it. They go to a nightclub and they bring back a couple of girls. One of them conks out, so they basically start on the other one, who then turns out to be, I don't know what she turns out to be, some sort of bird demon thing. Thoughts?
I really liked it. I love the transition, so you could sort of see like there's a line appears on her face.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the start of this transition. Don't want to sort of give too much away.
You have to just
About
accept
what's
that
that.
we're going to ruin it for them if
Yeah.
anyone listens to it and then thinks, "Oh, much watch that."
Yeah. So I like the physical transition into what she then becomes at the end.
There was a lot of times when the camera kind of moved to her briefly and then away, and you'd see something different about her, like her back went all, when her feet went quite weird at one point.
Yeah. I thought, oh, athlete's foot.
Yeah, quite a bad case. Like, just your days of athleting are gone.
There's the one guy that was just kind of laughing the whole time. And I found that irritating and
this is a problem I have.
Not needed.
Is characters in things that are meant to be annoying, I find too annoying. Obviously, they're doing what they're supposed to do, but I can't get past it.
It's like with a baddie in an action film. You have to like them on some level, but yeah, when they're being annoying like that in a sort of repetitive.
It's just like I said in my Attack of the Killer Clans. That's not what it's called. Seriously, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's 2 characters in that I think they're meant to be annoying, but I think they're meant to be annoying in a sort of these two, but they're just annoying. And every scene they're in, you're like, just die. And then of course they do get killed, and then they're back again at the end. So yeah, he was annoying, but he bought it in the end, didn't he? I'm pretty sure. I think they all did, apart from the guy with the glasses. Although, yeah, but yeah, it was good.
It's quite. I liked the fact that they'd obviously sort of they'd picked a room where to get out they had to go past her, so that they had the 2 beds, and the bed that she was on was next to the door.
Yeah,
with a TV cabinet, kind of making it.
There's no sneaking past.
There's no sneaking past. They locked themselves in the bathroom, which is the other end of the room. And that was a really clever little thing that, because I like, you go to a Travelodge or something, the bathroom is always by the door. So I was thinking, just come out and just go out the door.
Yeah,
but then when they came out, I realised, no, they're on the other side of the room. Yeah. They've got to go past.
I think the thing that stuck with me when I watched it last night, that I've sort of lost sight of since I first watched it, was I didn't know what to expect from any of them. And even remembering watching them, I can still remember being surprised. Like most horror films, you know basically what's going to happen. They're all fully formulaic. Like there's a new Halloween supposedly being made, but you know exactly what's going to happen in it all the way through. I couldn't predict any of what was going to happen. No. So when he escapes out of the room and all of a sudden she takes off with him into the sky,
I
was like, what? What's that? What? Obviously I knew it was coming, so I've seen it, but I do remember watching it the first time, and same with all of them. I don't think there's been a single of the 3, apart from we don't really talk about the last one because it sort of ruined it a bit. The 2 VHS films, not one of the bits that I watched was I able to really expect what was going to happen.
No.
And also I didn't find myself thinking, I bet it's going to be this, which means I'm absorbed, and that means I'm enjoying it. And I think one of the problems with the Killer Clowns that I watched was I wasn't in it. I was just watching it, enjoying little moments, going, oh, that's quite funny. But I kind of think either everyone's going to die or the clans are going to be bested in some way.
That's what was.
Those are all really unpredictable, I thought.
So what I was going to say is, as well as the fact that, like, in a standard action film, you know people are going to die, but you know that the hero probably isn't, and if they are, it's usually fairly well publicised. Whereas in a film like this, sometimes somebody does make it through, sometimes they don't, and it's kind of, you don't have that thing of knowing if people are going to actually survive or not. And in that one, the one guy does make it out of the room, but then I think he like falls down the stairs or something, and he breaks his wrist or something, and like fairly gruesome,
but brilliantly done.
But yeah.
So that was a good one.
And he's kind of gone down one flight of stairs too many or something. He can't quite get out.
I think something like that.
And it's,
second honeymoon. Speaking personally, I felt the weakest of the entries. Married couple Sam and Stephanie travel to Arizona for their second honeymoon. They visit a Wild West themed attraction where Stephanie receives a prediction from a mechanical fortune teller. Jeez. Which claims that she will soon be reunited with the loved one. Blah 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 blah. That was the one with the hotel room and the
slashery.
Yeah, I was less.
It wasn't
enthused about that one.
Well, it wasn't demonic, was it? There wasn't a sort of. It was just.
Yeah.
I'm not just misremembering.
No. It's just I think obviously the woman he's with and some of the women are obviously together, and they just wanted to off him. Yeah,
you see, I'd forgotten the fortune teller bit at the end when she went off.
I had actually, yeah. In fact, I've forgotten it again until I just read it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I've always really liked about the VHS thing is that the idea that there's these tapes, just VHS tapes in someone's house, of these inexplicable, horrendous, horrible, terrifying things. I think that is such a compelling idea that's the reason why I found this one a bit dull, because it was just a bit I
think
fine, probably because it's the most credible, believable, normal thing that happens.
In retrospect,
I enjoyed it less.
in retrospect, there's that sort of that thing of it's a tired relationship, and kind of thinking back at the time when I was watching it, I felt just bored by it. It's like, why are they even together? This guy's a tosspot.
Yeah,
and he's just whinging and like they're sleeping in separate. I don't understand why they were sleeping in separate beds. They were both in f***ing double beds. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, she was the one that I was quite cold to. I didn't mind him so much. But again, I guess because I liked the last part of the film so much, that one was just never going to compete. It's just a bit, Pete like you. Just never gonna. Yeah, it's just a bit. It's fine. If you're going to try and kill him, just push him off that bit. I mean, by own admission, during that scene, it's very high up. Just gone. Problem solved. Yeah. Could easily be an accident. Whereas, getting the person you're trying to be with to cut his throat in a hotel room that you've checked into, so they know you are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was fine. It's alright.
I guess it sort of stands out from the others in that there wasn't that. I guess like sort of seeing how the film ended. The film ended with the dead guy kind of being demonic himself. Kind of well, why was that part of it? Odd.
Yeah.
It kind of didn't really sit as part of the others because all of the others had a supernatural element to it.
Yeah.
That one didn't.
Tuesday the 17th, three friends, Joey, Spider and Samantha, accompany their new friend Wendy. Wasn't clear to me that she was a new friend on a camping trip. The thing that Spider and Samantha leave the group and are killed by a human-like figure with a red head obscured in tracking errors identified in the credits as the Glitch. It says at the end of this, Wendy continues to run through the woods but finds Jerry in his death throes. After he dies, the figure approaches Wendy in a final trap and impales it. Wendy gloats at it and walks away, but then turns around. It's gone. It reappears in a tree and jumps down, beats her with the camera, then kills her, subsequently eviscerating her, then inhabiting her body. I didn't get that it inhabited her body. No, it's not important, but just read that just now and was like, did it? Was that made clear? It was late, and I'd seen a lot up until then. I don't think it was obvious.
that was my favourite just because of the way it was presented. I really like the glitch thing.
Oh, yeah.
This idea that it's kind of creating this kind of electrostatic disturbance or what. I don't really know the technical terminology. I'm trying to make myself sound intelligent.
It was good.
Yeah.
Worked for me.
Yeah, we'll cut this.
Yeah, we'll probably cut a lot of you out, to be honest.
Yeah, and just this, and like the way that it started was kind of that sort of. Oh, hang on, what was that? It was nice. I liked it. Again, I found maybe it's just my age, but I find like watching it, like you sort of get these groups of. Maybe it's because I've never been part of that kind of. That type of group of friends.
No, I don't think I've cared about any of them, to be honest. Which I guess is going to be a problem with a 12-15 minute film. There's a lot to try and get in that amount of time, and creating characters that you then invest in.
Yeah. Which
they didn't bother, in my opinion.
An interesting note on that subject is the fact that we had this is going to be a long podcast, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Some of the films were kind of so long that when we then returned to the house and these guys watching the tapes, oh yeah, these guys. I didn't feel invested in them in the slightest.
I watched a review of VHS a couple of days ago, partly because I knew I was going to be watching it, so I thought I was kind of interested to see. I think partly because I wanted to see what other people have done in terms of reviewing it, to see if I'm kind of completely off as a reviewer. Not that these are meant to be reviews particularly, it's more just me banging on about things. Take it as a review if you want. And one of the things this pointed out was that they liked the fact that every time we went back to this group of people in the house, something had changed in the background and you were like, oh, that wasn't there before. I didn't get that. Even having watched someone reviewing it, talking about it, I still didn't get that. Because like you say, because you're out of it for 10-15 minutes and you come back to it, and you're still kind of processing, because they all kind of have like a shock ending, sort of. They all kind of end in a way that you're kind of meant to go, oh, I didn't see that coming. So you're processing it. And then you're brought back into this original narrative, and A, you've forgotten about it. B, it's not as interesting as the bits you're watching on the tapes. So you're not that bothered about what happens. And also I think because you know they're watching tapes, and therefore you know that what's going to be happening in these little episodes is going to be of interest. I think partly you're just assuming that what is keeping them all together, there's people in the house trying to find these tapes, isn't going to be anything interesting. It's just people trying to find some tapes. That's just there for the purposes of we need some reason for you to be seeing these 6 things. It's these people breaking into a house. That's your reason. So it doesn't matter. So you're not really expecting anything to come of that. So really it's 7 things in one film. It's just the 7th one is the narrative that holds it all together, and it's not that interesting. And I lost sight of it each time. Yeah. And I've seen it more than once. And I still wasn't interested, and I still remember what happened to them. Even now I'm not completely sure. But yeah, no, I like that. I like the glitching. That was good. I quite liked the bit where she says, you're all going to die out here. That kind of put me in mind of The Exorcist. So the glitching was good. The only thing I didn't care for particularly was when the camera would cut to a place where somebody had previously been killed and you'd see like a quick flickery thing of their body.
Yeah.
Wasn't that bothered with that. Thought it was a bit gratuitous.
Yeah.
You've established enough of a creepy atmosphere with this like... Is that a figure? Oh no, it's gone. That then ruins the subtlety of that, because all of a sudden, oh, dead body, oh, guts hanging out, oh, horrible. It's like you're kind of playing to 2 different audiences, one that finds subtlety scary and one that finds gore scary, and they aren't really the same audience. And I think you need to pick. And I think you've picked by the virtue of the fact that your killer is this kind of weird, glitchy, you don't really ever see him, you're just aware that he's around, because of the way the camera reacts to his presence. You can't have both, I don't think. No. Which is why I didn't particularly like the gory kind of throat being slashed and all that sort of thing. It's just a bit. You're winning me over with the. Oh, what was that? What was that? I don't want gore. No. Make it gory. I enjoy a bit of gore. That's fine, but don't try and do both, because they aren't. I don't think in that context compatible.
I guess it's that thing as well, like because it's a glitch, so you're like it's your only eyes into that world is through what the camera's seeing, and then suddenly that's being distorted, so that kind of jolts you anyway, as somebody that watches videos or television stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of, and it's, that's all I've got to say about that.
So that was that one. So that was your favourite, you reckon?
It was from presentation wise, and although I didn't really care for the characters, but I didn't really care for the characters in the last one either.
Nor me.
It's just kind of like, I think probably.
I mean, we'll get to it, but we'll get to it. The sick thing that happened to Emily when she was younger. I might read you all. Oh Jesus, maybe I won't. Or maybe I will. Segment is shown through computer video chats. Emily's talking to her boyfriend. That's solved that mystery. I was convinced for most of it that he was her brother. Trainee doctor about a strange bump on her arm and how it reminds her of an accident she had when she was younger. After witnessing a small childlike entity rush into her room and slam the door shut, Emily believes her apartment is haunted. Landlord claims no children have ever lived in the apartment. Emily's unconvinced. Blah 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 blah. Emily tries to contact the being, but it knocks her out. James quickly appears in her apartment and surgically removes an alien fetus from Emily's torso. Aliens are using Emily as an incubator for alien-human hybrids, and James has been working for them and removing the fetuses for some time. Bit of a spoiler there, Wikipedia. Tell me what the plot is, but don't. Put that at the end.
Yeah.
Aliens erase Emily's memory, and James mentions that the arm bump is a tracking device. In the next chat, the badly injured Emily believes she has sustained her injuries after running into traffic.
Dozy cow.
Yeah, daft mare. Basically, that was that one. Thoughts? There were bits of it that I liked, and then the more it got explained, the less I liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like her talking and the thing and the door shutting, because I mean, I don't know if I've said on here, but I like haunted house things are what scares me the most, because it just always has done since I was a kid. So anything that's set in a haunted house I'll be into, unless it's crap, in which case I won't be. So like all the Amityville films, apart from the first couple, are just because they try and do the same thing. They try and combine not seeing things. Oh, what was that? Oh, with horrible gory body horror stuff, and they aren't compatible. I don't think they're two different kinds of fear, and they don't work together. So that bit I liked, and in the same reason I like Paranormal Activity 4 so much is because I guess you're seeing things that the person isn't, or you're kind of experiencing that uncertainty with them, and so the web chat thing worked in that sense. And then her kind of going around the house and taking photos not taking photos, but using the flash to light the room up. Just turn the light on.
Yeah.
And I get why you're doing it. Yeah, and it works. It's dramatic, and I'm scared by the fact that there's something suddenly. But again, I have to turn off that apartment and say, just turn the light on.
Yeah.
If I was in that house and I was that scared, I wouldn't have the lights off.
No.
That's that.
Never would the lights be off.
No.
Electricity would be through the roof.
Yeah. When I watched The Changeling as a kid with my dad, and it scared the hell out of me. And I watched it again on my own one night on the telly because it was on. And I had to have my light on. And I was in my teens, which I suppose isn't that shocking, I guess. But it was that scary, I had to have the light on. So I can't accept that if you're in a house that you're scared of, you'd have the lights off. No. Ever. Can't. I'm sorry. I know I have to, because you have to abandon that rationality, but I just can't. It's a sod you. But yeah, the subtlety bits I liked. Once I knew that he knew what was going on and was kind of working against her almost, I liked watching it, knowing that, and seeing how he's talking to her and saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. No, don't. I'll just leave it. I'll sort it out."
Things fall into place
because you know that he knows what it is, and so you know that he's trying to stop her discovering it, and so you're like, "No, don't listen to him." But again, then it's all explained as being something, and although it's explained as being aliens, and that's a bit different to what I normally get, I didn't like the fact that it was explained.
No.
I'd rather it was just left. But again, that's just me.
Interesting the ability now for there to be these different ways of people recording things, which is used in Paranormal Activity. And do you remember we watched that Unfriended?
That was good, wasn't it? As I remember.
Yeah, but a bunch of people
because of the way that they kind of harness all these different means of.
It's that thing like you've got a static camera, so you got these bits where you've got people carrying around a camera and you're seeing things. Sometimes it's hidden camera, so that introduces a different element because the people around them don't know that they're filming because it's hidden. Yeah. And then you've got this other thing where you basically got a static camera on a laptop. I mean, she kind of carries it around to show him her flat and stuff, and it moves, but it's still kind of it still feels more static. And it's I guess it kind of introduces a different Well, it's like on sort of older plays, stage plays, you get things being explained that you couldn't really do on stage. So you get a messenger comes in from outside and just reports what's happened. Or this has gone off stage. And there's various plays where like nothing actually happened. Everything that actually happens in it happens off stage. It sort of introduces a different way of telling the story, really. But this one kind of combined, because you did actually sort of see things happening and you saw. But like you, I didn't really care for the fact that it was explained so thoroughly what was actually happening.
I think also there's a bit where he's talking to the aliens, it turns out to be, and he's kind of answering like the questions that we have, like, so what is this thing in her arm? And he sort of says, it's a tracking device to them, like they don't know about it and we don't know about it, so we know that you're only saying it for our benefit, but I know you're doing it for our benefit, and that annoys me. I'd rather not know, or you think of a better way of explaining it. The minute you do that, you've lost me.
As well, like, so the bit where he cuts the alien out, I actually didn't like the fact I couldn't tell where he was cutting it out from. I don't know why, but I wanted to know. So because it looked as though he was cutting it into a back. And I it sort of felt weird. So and you sort of saw some ribs which didn't look very convincing because there were no muscles around it. It was just like
skin ribs.
So I felt as though I wanted to know more the impact physically that it was having on her. So at the end of the day, if someone slices into your back, that ain't going to be stitched up by that. That needs some fairly heavy medical intervention. And no disrespect to him, he's not a surgeon with 30 years experience to be able to completely repair someone's back.
No. And the other thing, actually, now you've said that, there's a bit where he says something about how you have to break some bones so he can make whatever he's had to do to it look like it was an accident. And then it cuts to her back on her webcam. She's got like her arm in a cast and I've done it again. Black eye. And part of me thinks, if I hadn't seen him cut her open and all this other stuff, the fact that he's, in order to kind of cover his tracks, had to basically beat up her unconscious body and leave her with these horrible injuries, that's quite awful. The idea that while she's been unconscious, he's basically been kicking her and punching her to break a few limbs, that's awful. But the effect of that being horrible is basically lost, because I've just seen you cut her open and pull something out of her. And so again, it's like that on its own, if it had gone a different direction and then it cut back to her all badly beaten, you think, I know you did that to her. She doesn't know you did it to her because she was unconscious. That's horrific. That's lost, because I've just seen you perform surgery on a webcam.
But then also, did you feel like he actually liked her? Because like they're supposedly been together for years. Yeah. Some reference to the fact that they were, they've known each other since they were little. So that kind of right. So has that all been fake, or so it kind of felt like there wasn't really any. I kind of felt like there needed to be a bit of an extra element to it, in that he was, is he being coerced into doing this in some way, or he seemed to be very kind of okay with it. There didn't seem to be any how he was talking to her, and you kind of, as the bits fell into place, and it became evident that he was actually controlling things and he was kind of manipulating her and stuff. It just kind of turned into just a sort of abusive relationship where he happens to be growing aliens inside her.
I think if it was billed as that on the back of this box, I wouldn't bother with it. But oh god, that sounds awful. I don't know. I agree. Those are a lot of questions that aren't answered. But I don't care enough about that story to care about the answers to those questions because of the way it's presented. I agree. Those are questions that I would kind of be interested. I guess if someone said, "Here's the answers to those questions," I'd go on then. Oh right, but I wouldn't ask. If you said to me, "Look over their nose," I wouldn't go, "Oh, I must go have a chat with him." But if he came over and said, "Do you want to know?" I'd go on then. That's the difference. 10/31/98, or as we shall render it, 31/10/98. It's Halloween 1998. Chad, Matt, Tyler, and Paul dressed in Halloween costumes as the Unabomber, a pirate, a teddy bear implanted with a nanny cam, and a marine. My understanding is, I won't bother reading all this. They go to a house for a Halloween party. They get the wrong house, but they think it's the right house, so they just go in. There's obviously some weird stuff going on, which they take to be like a setup, like it's a ghost house. Look, we've set all these things up. So instead of being like scared of it, they're like, if you've been in there, it is so cool. I liked that, and I also like the fact that they come out of a room at one point and they're like, "Oh mate, that is so cool," or whatever it is they say. But we don't see whatever went on in that room. I liked that. Far and away my favourite episode of the film. I think because I didn't expect any of it. It was all like oh, just like that in that order. The bit when they're basically retreating back out of the house and they keep like sort of looking in rooms as they go and there's just stuff happening, things floating around and stuff. That scared the shit out of me. That speaks to childhood fears of ghosts in such a profound way that part of the film is the only part of the film that at the end of it I'm kind of left going, God, that's over now. Was less bothered once they got out of the house with the girl and the train and all that sort of stuff. That was just a bit The stuff in the house was
I'd actually forgotten that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
I sort of... It was fine. I didn't ruin it or anything, but I didn't need that bit. If it had ended with them running out of the house and the camera just going and then credits over static, that would have worked for me. Yeah.
And it might have made an interesting end to one of the stories for everyone to actually survive.
Also, I mean, I know we haven't finished necessarily talking about that last segment though. Lots of boobs. Lots more boobs than I remember.
A little bit kind of like it's trying to appeal to teenage boys.
Right, we've got gore for people who like gore. We've got weirdness for people who like actual horror. We've got boobs for all the people who are between the ages of 13 through 18, maybe? I don't know. Which kind of put me in mind of the 80s, the last 80s horror films that were boobs.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a bit of titillation.
Gratuitous.
Literally. And I guess as a grown-up man now, where that doesn't have quite the same impact anymore, just felt a bit needless. Like, I don't need bare boobs. Seen bare boobs. They're brilliant, but I don't need it to enjoy a film. At least not this kind of film. Obviously a different kind of film. They do help. Yeah, there were a lot of boobs.
And are encouraged in the right setting.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that last segment was easily my favourite. The arms coming out of things was just so well done.
Yeah. And
bits floating around, and there was bits I hadn't noticed. So like when he's walking past that, like a bureau or something, there's like a teddy bear on it, and then later on they go past the room and it's on the bed. And I took that to be the same teddy bear. And then there's a bit where you see a chair, and whenever we kind of come out of the room, the chair's moved or something. That was quite good. I like things like that. I do have to switch off that part of me that says, if it's a ghost or whatever, why is it moving that chair about? What's the point? What's it getting out of it? I'll move the chair over here now. I always fall back on The Exorcist, my explanation for that, where one of the priests asks the other priest, like, just why? Why is it doing this? Why is it taking this particular girl? It's only impacting on like her mum, this bloke that keeps coming to the house, the woman that lives with them, like a maid, the policeman that's investigating it, the priest that's investigating it. 6 or 7 people. That's the only people it's impacting on. The whole rest of the world totally oblivious to the fact this is happening. So just why? And the priest just goes to make us despair. And you think that's perfect. What better explanation? The only reason it's doing it is to make the people that it's impacting on afraid and upset. That's enough. That's all it wants. And I guess if it was me and I was living in a house and I came downstairs and something had moved and I knew it had moved and I knew it wasn't somebody living that had done it, it scared the hell out of me. And so, mission accomplished. So yeah, I just loved it. It's easily the best of that film, and I think it's probably the best of all of them. There's a couple of good sections in the second one, but I think that's still the best segment. But then it is my favourite genre of horror. And so if you take Haunted House Thing's my favourite kind of horror film, Found Footage my favourite play on that genre, can't lose. Which is why the Paranormal Activity films are so good for me, because it's everything I like.
I quite like in that last one the fact, because they were in a house. You had like ones that basically sort of took place in a room, and stuff like that. But I quite like when you're in a place for the first time, particularly a large building like that, and there's kind of this. You do have that sort of thing of taking wrong turnings and stuff like that, so that sort of feeling of disorientation. The camera's moving around a lot anyway, but you kind of also have that sort of sense of it's not clear how the hell they're going to get out. So it's quite sort of disorientating. It just sort of takes that sense of disorientation. I guess like the fact that you've got a larger space, like in the woodland, you've got they're obviously in a larger space in that forest one. They're in a larger space, but somehow because it's open air, it's got the threat doesn't seem quite as present. Whereas in a house, you've got like the four walls encompassing you, and you're kind of trapped. Interestingly, I had, possibly because it was quite late at night, I did get to the end of the sort of linking segment where some death happened.
Yeah.
I did kind of think, oh, that's the end of the film, and then there's another bit. That's the only bit. But it was the best. But obviously, I didn't know that was coming because it's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I did kind of think, oh, for sake. So I would have been, I guess, because there isn't really, you didn't really get any kind of narrative arc throughout the whole thing. So it did kind of feel as though it could have sort of ended at any point.
Yeah.
Really, there wasn't any kind of, there wasn't a conclusion to the whole thing. Or in a way, like the conclusion had already happened, hadn't it? Because the dead guy wasn't dead, or maybe
I think
undead.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but even I mean, there was no that didn't enhance. That didn't give any kind of clarity as to what was going on. It didn't link the videos.
No, I don't know that it wouldn't have been just as effective if it had just been marketed as here's 6 things that were found in this house.
Yeah.
Here's a photo of the house. Here's the tapes.
Yeah.
Pick one you want to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's a Blu-ray, so you can do that. I don't know that the bit that stitched it all together was sufficiently strong that it was necessary.
No.
And if it was fine, it did a job, it was alright. There were bits of it that I liked, like the opening shots of them just basically just committing little petty vandalism and stuff, and the fact they're filming it for their own enjoyment to watch later on or something. That was good. I think the only bit of it that I didn't like actually was a bit when they go into the house and all the stuff that goes on once they're in there. I don't know, I wouldn't have preferred them just to go into the house and then that's the point at which we see these tapes. And now here they all are one by one. Because they went in and found them. I don't know that them being killed by the bloke in the house was added anything particularly.
No.
It's just happened. Just a thing that went on.
Yeah.
And then it stopped. And there was some loud music. On that basis, my opinion of VHS is it's good. And if you like horror films, give it a watch.
Yeah.
If you like horror films but you aren't that keen on very short bits, you prefer a much longer narrative, maybe don't.
Or a narrative.
Yeah. If you don't like boobs, probably give it a miss. I don't think there's a single segment that didn't have boobs in it, some description.
Come back soon for the next episode of John Bolton's podcast. What horror movie will he be reviewing? Who knows? Who cares?